Let's begin by telling you about the concerns that lecturers are raising under the umbrella of ASUU. They're threatening a possible nationwide strike, accusing the federal government of reneging on its long-standing agreements on the revitalization and proper funding of public universities. ASUU President Christopher Piwuna on Thursday noted that Nigerian lecturers have endured more than 2 years of broken promises and delayed tactics by the government. Piwuna listed unresolved issues to include the renegotiation of the 2009 ASUU federal government agreement, outstanding salary arrears, withheld promotions, and the welfare of retired lecturers. The ASUU chief also rejected government's proposed tertiary institution staff support fund loan scheme, describing it as a trap to further enslave the already impoverished workers. Let's discuss this. We have two learned gentlemen. Professor of English, University of Uyo, Joseph Ushie. With him is Dr. Abdulrahman Hamisu, a researcher and public commentator. Gentlemen, thank you very much for giving us your time. Professor Ushie, let me start with you and just ask about the 2 years has gone by, according to ASUU president, and it seems like nothing is happening. Is that there's been no talk in the last 2 years, or there's a deadlock? Which is it that is causing this threat? Professor Ushie, if you can hear me.
First, for having me, and thanks for giving us the opportunity to explain ourselves to Nigerians. We are thinking of a 2009 agreement that ought to have been renegotiated 3 years and every 3 years thenceforth. But until now, that process has not taken place. In the last 2 years, we have been on it. We got to some form of agreement, and all that was left was for government to endorse and implement the agreement. But regrettably, the government hasn't done so. And meanwhile, ASUU members have remained on the same salary since 2009 till date. And we think that in as much as we hate going on strikes because of the effects, government seems to be leaving us with no other choice than to embark on this only option that government tends to be able to be conscious of, and that's the position.
All right, Dr. Hamisu, I want to ask you about the February 2025 document, draft agreement agreed by the Alhaji Yayali Ahmed-led committee. The document, according to your president, covers conditions of service, university autonomy, among other issues. There's the accusation that the federal government has completely ignored this document. How vital is that document to the negotiation efforts? And is there perhaps any reason being given by the federal government for their continued silence?
Let us get something very clearly. I want to say that any nation that does not value its educational system and does not value those that are giving the younger generation the needed knowledge and the requisite preparation, competencies, and discipline they needed in order to become a good member of the society and contribute their quota is doomed. And Nigeria is one of those countries that doesn't care about the welfare of members of staff that are really training the younger generation. With due respect, how many times has the members of the National Assembly gone on strike before they implement their salary increment or whatever emolument or benefit? But in the case of Federal Government of Nigeria, for whatever issue ASUU has raised, are issues that are negotiated with federal government. Federal government is known to plead with ASUU for time. ASUU usually grant those concessions. In part of the agreement has been that every three years, there should be negotiations on salary increment, welfare of the members of ASUU, who are the people that are really adding value to this country by grooming the younger generation. But each time there is this agreement and it is signed by both parties, nobody is being held by gunpoint to say you either sign or you die. Willingly, these things are negotiated and agreed upon by two and federal government. But you find out that all the time, it is federal government that is always failing in its own duties and responsibilities to implement most of these agreements, if not all of these agreements. Now, the question is, why is it?
Okay, I think we've lost Dr. Hamisu for a bit. I'll pivot back to you, Professor Ushie, and just talk about the threat by the president of ASUU. He says that they will start with preemptive protest across universities starting next week, pending the August 28th meeting, when they will decide whether they will go on that strike. What are the chances that the federal government will respond to any strike at this point? Because they seem to have been reneging all this while. Is there any other strategy aside this public protest?
Yeah. Can I come in at this point, please?
Prof, go ahead, sir. Professor Ushie, you have the floor, please.
Yeah, we are among the very best in the country. Yeah, if you want to know, think about those Nigerians who have left the country to other lands and the exploits they are making. Every day on social media, in mainstream news, we are hearing about them achieving great feats, inventions, and a whole lot, winning awards. But the question is, what's happening to us here in the country? It is a question of neglect. Always Nigerians talk about alternative to strike. What is the alternative? How do you have audience with someone who shuts the door against you? Every now and then, ASUU has been at the doors of government seeking to present her issues. Now, if you have taken like 2 years to negotiate, renegotiate an agreement, and you've reached a point where both parties have come to some consensus, what is there that is stopping the federal government from signing and implementing that agreement when the same federal government is on its own, sometimes unilaterally increasing the salaries of people in government, increasing the salaries of judges, people in the judiciary? And we now have this new development, 10 million naira loan. Please, at the current rate of about 1,550 naira to the dollar, that comes to about $6,451,000. And that is what lecturers in some parts of the world earn in a month.
Professor, what would you like them to convert that loan scheme to? Because it seems that's a consensus across the academia that this loan scheme will further impoverish lecturers.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. That loan scheme is a very, very unnecessary and dangerous distraction. In the first place, why is government bringing ASUU into it? Government had an opportunity of talking with ASUU on the 2009 agreement. We came to some form of agreement. Why isn't the government thinking about that? Now, when you bring the 10 million loan issue, no university professor would earn up to 10 million naira per annum. Therefore, no Nigerian professor would have the capacity to even claim the whole 10 million. At the very most, a professor will get a maximum of maybe 6 million. And then at the second point, why talk about the loan instead of the that somebody would, a lecturer would take home and he said, "This is my salary." What is the loan for? When the same government is still owing us 3.5 months salary arrears from the 2022 strike. So the loan is not what we are thinking about. And then again, government is bringing in ASUU. If government wants to give money to lecturers loan, government has governing councils. Government has its own structures. Government can use those structures to send money to lecturers or to university workers. Government doesn't need to bring in ASUU. And government doesn't need to even bring that money when government is owing us increase in, a living wage. Government is owing us money for,
some real points with your argument, sir. Let me bring in Dr. Hamisu and ask his thoughts on the loan scheme. Do you agree with the comments of Prof about what federal government is doing with the loan scheme? Once you're done with that, we'll talk about those who have already served.
The question is, what is a loan? A loan is money that has been taken by somebody promising to repay at a given period of time. As it is, and as my colleague rightly pointed out, we're not even empowered as lecturers to take those loans, because if you take a loan, you have to pay back. As somebody who is taking 150,000 naira per month, and then you are giving the person 10 million naira loan, how is the person going to pay back? This is a question. What the university lecturers are asking for is not a loan. What they're asking for is a living wage. A living wage that is commensurable with the rate of inflation in this country. They pay for their services. They pay for utilities, not impoverishing them further.
All right, quickly, before we go, how would you rather the federal government address the pension crisis affecting retired lecturers who seem to earn very meager pensions monthly? I hear some of them earn as little as 150,000 naira after years of service.
And now it boils down to neglect, injustice, and abuse of power in Nigeria. You have senators that are living after serving for 4 years with severance allowance that could take care of them many years after retirement. And you have somebody that has spent up to 30 years teaching in the university, having a very meager salary or pension, as the case may be. It shows neglect. It shows our priority. That we don't prioritize education, and we don't prioritize those that are given education. Period. That is just it.
Right. I guess we'll have to leave it there for now. Thank you very much, Professor Ushie and Dr. Hamisu, for speaking with us.